decided to get away from Alabama just for a night, spend a night out and maybe a part of the day celebrating our anniversary, which we didn't get to celebrate the other week. And so we came to the little town of Normandy, Tennessee, and stayed the night in an Airbnb. And this is a cool little town. It reminds me a lot of home, and our host really did a great job of making us feel at home. And so we're going to go around today and visit some of the other little towns nearby, Bell Buckle, Wartrace. We may tour a couple of the distilleries that are here. We don't drink, but I think it'll be fun to take a little tour and maybe to see some of the other sites in the area. Why don't y'all come along with us? This is downtown Normandy, Tennessee. There's not much going on here, but they keep the buildings up pretty nice. The George Dickel Distillery is that way. We saw a sign for the Normandy TVA dam, so we thought we'd go have a look and check it out. We first thought we'd drive around to the top side and have a look at the water. And now let's go have a look at the dam itself. The dam was impressive. The water was pretty and relatively clear. I bet there's some good fish in this water. But I didn't bring a fishing pole. I really didn't have time for that. Oh, look, there was my finger. one last look at the dam, and it was time to head on towards the little town of Wartrace and the home of the Tennessee Walking Horse Museum. On the way, we saw this sign for this historical marker, so we decided to pull over to check it out. The house which once stood here is long gone, but there was this interesting looking rail fence and this log structure that looks like maybe it was to represent some type of shed or livestock enclosure. No windows on it, and this door on the front's not really a door, it's just some boards nailed directly to the logs. And while some of these logs were really old and may have been part of some original structure, others were a lot newer, such as this one on the top and a few on the bottom, which are cedar and cut much more recently. Also, the tin roof could not have been used on anything built back in the 1800s. It's just way too new. But overall, it was pleasant to look at and a nice break for me to get out and stretch my legs before we continued the drive on toward Wartrace. We liked the look of this old house as we came into the town of Wartrace. It was interesting looking. And as we approached the downtown area here, I was looking forward to visiting the museum for the Tennessee Walking Horse. I find these little small local museums very interesting. Straight ahead, there to the right a little bit, is the old hotel, which is no longer used. And as we pulled into the parking lot, we could see that the museum was closed, and like a lot of other things, it's only open on the weekends. Headed out of town, we noticed this little arena on the right, and I surmised that it may have been a show arena for walking horses. Anyway, we're gonna head on now towards the town of Bell Buckle.
Set your place on fire. Let's get higher. I'm gonna set your place on fire. Let's get higher. I'm murdering my lyrics. Beat it so hard, I ain't gotta pay more.
We are now coming into the little town of Bell Buckle, Tennessee. A cool little town with a little bit of touristy feel to it, but still retaining very much its small town atmosphere. There are a number of shops here that we decided to look in, but our first order of business was to visit the cafe. They should have just opened, and we wanted to get in there before the place became too crowded. The country food is supposed to be good and cooked on site, and we were excited. Everything on the menu looked good. I decided on the chicken pot pie and the carrot souffle. But I must say that the food was even better than it looks. Oh yeah, and that cornbread, fried. The Bell Buckle Cafe, followed by a trip to the ice cream parlor, where for dessert, we had one of their famous fried pies cooked fresh every morning. I highly recommend the cherry cream fried pie, which was delicious. And now to some shops to look around and perhaps find something for the farm. Somebody fell in love with this bell and thought that it would not only look good on the front porch of our home, but that would also be useful when I was working out in the field and it was time to call me in for supper. I, for one, kind of like this fish on the wall, but I lost out and we ended up buying this bell and taking it home with us. Overall, we really liked the town of Bell Buckle. The food here was excellent. The shops were all interesting, with each one having something a little different than the next. And the people here were really nice. But it was time for us to go, and so we headed out towards the town of Lynchburg and the home of the Jack Daniel's Distillery. On the entire trip, it seemed like every few miles we would pass one of these huge old plantation homes, some of which were being remodeled or something, as this one appeared to be, but they were just gorgeous and fun to look at.
Welcome to another crime scene.
Finally, Lynchburg, Tennessee, and the Jack Daniel's Distillery. I'm sure that the tour would have been fun, but given that we couldn't park very close to the visitor center at all, and that it was raining, and we really were running a little short on time, we thought maybe we would save the tour for another trip, and at this time, just do a quick drive-by through the parking lot here in front of their visitor center. And we just are ready by this point to get back to Alabama.
Get a little bit of gasoline. Welcome to another crime scene.
This narrow two-lane highway was absolutely the longest, straightest road I've ever seen anywhere in the South. We found out later that it's because this road was built on an old railway bed. So when the train line was shut down, they took up the tracks and built this long, very long, straight road on top of it. And this is the road that's going to take us back to Alabama and family. I hope y'all have enjoyed this trip. Come with us on our next adventure, wherever it leads. We love y'all. See you again soon.